So this is a sundial, or formally it is a mechanical standing equinoctial ring dial. So that tells you it's a fancy kind of sundial made by Richard Glynne for the Earl of Ilay, Archibald Campbell. It's a scientific instrument. You can use it to calculate the time, but it's also a work of art. It's an object of beauty to stand in a nobleman's library. To use the dial, you need to first of all align it north-south so that you're going to be able to follow essentially where the sun is going to pass over the course of the day. So that's why there's a compass in the centre. You can make sure that you are aligned and that the dial is correctly aligned depending on which hemisphere you're at as to whether the sun is likely to pass across the southern sky at midday or the northern sky. So here we have it aligned to the south, which is the orientation that the sun will go. You can actually adjust this for the difference between magnetic north and astronomical or true north, and you would do that by adjusting with this handle a little so that you can move the whole thing just enough to make the difference between the magnetic orientation and true north. Once you're happy with the positioning of the dial, you can then make sure that the whole thing is level using these adjustable screws on the 3 feet. And you've got spirit levels there in the centre to make sure that you're absolutely flat. Once you've done that, you want to make sure that you are at the right latitude for where you're making your observation of the sun, because of course the sun appears higher or lower in the sky depending on where you are, how far north or south you are of the equator. And that you can do on this central dial, and you can adjust it again with the same handle, can be moved in here, and you can move it just a lot or a little depending on where you were previously set to show that you are exactly the right latitude, which would be for Edinburgh 55.59-ish degrees north of latitude. So we're set up now to expect the sun to pass from the west over the south and to the east of the sky. And this is the sighting vein which the sun is going to go through, will shine through onto the lower plate when you know that you're aligned and pointing in the right direction. So you adjust that to where the date that you want on this scale, and then you need to work out where the sun is and make the dial point in the right direction so that the sun shines through the sights and onto the plate below. And we can do that by adjusting this handle. This, you can read what you know the rough time is. You could adjust it to that. On this indicator, it's not actually a clock dial, this is an hour indicator where you're going to read the time off. If you know more or less what the time is, you can adjust it using the clock, or if you don't know the time at all, you're just going to be looking to see when the sun starts pointing through. When you do have it aligned correctly and the sun's light is shining down, then you can read the time off this equator scale. So this is divided into 2 sets of 12 hours for the night and day, 24 hours. And you can read your time here, or it will be the same on the hour indicator. So you can read the time on the hour indicator there. Once you know your time, that is your local solar time, you can then convert that into mean time. So that is a clock time, something where the hours are equal in length rather than changing somewhat in length across a different time of the year. So you've got a calendar here on this scale which shows an equation of time. So if you've read your time from these scales or from the indicator, and then you can work out where you are in the year. So if you were March or April, May, on this dial, you can then read from that as to whether your watch or your clock would be slower or faster than the local time, solar time appears to be, and by how much on this scale. And you can perform that conversion, and then that would give you the time that you would want to adjust your clocks, say your long case clocks in your home, to show you the accurate time.